And welcome to the Nasboys Sports Podcast. Now, did you know that Scottie Pippen was going to join the Lakers in 1999, but Jerry Buss prevented a deal due to salary cap concerns? So, anyways, guys, welcome to the Nasboys Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Mike, aka Mike Bob Fan 101, with my good friend and co-host, C Will, aka 15-year-old C Will.
Hey guys, hope you're having a great week. We got a lot to get into. It's coming up on the Super Bowl. We got a lot of NBA, some basketball stuff going on, and we also got like the Winter Olympics. So make sure to watch the end.
Yes. So let's kick things off with the NFL. We got the Super Bowl coming up this week or this coming week. This should be a pretty good game. We got the Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Rams. Honestly, you can't really go wrong if either team wins. If Cincinnati wins, they'll make one of the greatest comebacks in NFL history from being a top 3 pick every season to now being one of the best teams in the NFL. And the Los Angeles Rams, who have been here before, I believe around 2018, I want to say, against the Chiefs. And this will be Matthew Stafford's first ever Super Bowl. So, like I said, you can't really go wrong with either of these guys. I'm personally going to go for the Bengals, but my prediction will be the Rams.
Well, the last time the Rams were in the Super Bowl, they faced off against the Patriots, and it wasn't a good game. But the Rams have been in the Super Bowl a couple times in their history. They do have one Super Bowl win when they beat the Titans. But it's gonna be a close matchup, I think. I mean, both teams average 27.1 points per game. And the Rams, they average more yards actually than the Bengals do per game at 372 compared to 361. But all across the board, the stats are very close and similar. Now, the Rams do have the home field advantage. They're at home in LA. Right now, they're projecting it to be 72 degrees at kickoff, sunny, and it's going to be at 6:30 on Sunday on NBC. I'm looking forward to this. I think this could be a really good Super Bowl. I hope it is, and it might be a pretty high-scoring one. As I've said in some episodes before, I want the Bengals to win, even though I am a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I want the Bengals to win. And overall, with the prediction wise, I think the Bengals are going to win.
Interesting.
I'm pulling for them to win, and I think they're going to win. So
yeah,
I think it will probably be something like 34-31 or something like that.
Let's not forget how bad the Rams did against that Super Bowl and the Patriots. But then again, Matthew Stafford, he's a better quarterback than Jared Goff, so I think he can do good.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Matthew Stafford's been doing pretty well. He did kind of mess up his hand on a throw, but I think his hand should be okay.
Yeah.
Today was the Pro Bowl. We were recording on Sunday, February the 6th. There was the Pro Bowl today, and that was a sloppy game. I mean, look at the clip. You probably seen the clip, Mike, where they're playing two-hand tag.
Game, and Micah Parsons, he had a lot of rest.
Final 10 seconds of this first Pro Bowl quarter. Mahomes, little sidearm, and he's intercepted. That's Antoine Winfield of the Buccaneers. Little head fake the pitch, and now cuts it back for the touchdown. 64 yards on that pick six.
And Antoine Winfield, again, another one of those young, that's nice right there. Fake the pitch.
He faked Mahomes out.
Keep it for yourself.
Good thing I didn't watch that,
Yeah, I did not want to watch that. I watched NASCAR, which for those of you guys who don't know, we run also a NASCAR podcast on the same channel. Go check it out if you like NASCAR. But we'll get into more of that when it's time for NASCAR, which will be out later this week. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Pro Bowl, not that great of a game. The only reason why people would want to watch it is to see Tom Brady's final snaps. But now let's get into the news. So Washington has officially announced their name. They are now going to be the Washington Commanders. I said how I felt about this a little bit ago last week, but I will say it again for any of you guys who haven't seen that. Personally, I like the name. I think it fits in with the DC theme since DC is the nation's capital and, with the military commanders. I like that a lot. I think that it will fit with Washington a lot. However, there were some things that opposing fans can really get at, such as calling them commies. So let's say when they're playing the Dallas Cowboys, it's going to be America's team versus the commies. And also, there were a lot of people who were saying, they turned from being the Native Americans to now the people who killed them, which I didn't think of that. But without saying that, I like the name. I don't see really the hate. The jerseys, they look, you can see them on the screen right there. I'm not that big of a fan of them, and the logos look really, really bad. So overall, the rebrand, I give it maybe a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing really else to add. I mean, I think it's a good name. It's the best name that they could have chose. I have a coworker who thought that the colors were not that good. They didn't like the team's colors, but I have no problem with it. I have nothing else to add about that.
How do you not like the burgundy and gold color scheme? But anyways, they also want to take a big swing at a veteran quarterback like Russell Wilson. That would be very nice to get Russell Wilson. I don't think it would happen because I've read a lot of stuff that veteran quarterbacks don't want to come here, and I don't blame them. I am a Commanders fan, by the way. But it would be really, really cool to get Russell Wilson. I know he's he had a down year this year, but I hope he could turn it up.
Interesting.
So they're also going to be forced to release the findings from the investigation on Dan Snyder, but I think Dan Snyder has like a say in it. I don't know. It's really stupid, and it's just a bunch of corporate crap, but I'm not going to get into that completely. I just hope that they make Snyder sell the team, but I doubt that will happen. Tom Brady officially retired. Last week, we made a whole segment of us crapping on Adam Schefter because he reported the news too early, and we were like, he's probably not going to retire. And then as I was editing the video, breaking news: Tom Brady officially retires. So once again, thank you so much, Tom Brady, for all the memories, all the times that people wanted you to lose, and overall, just your overall great career. Definitely my GOAT. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even have much to comment other than I feel like it was time. And as someone that's not really a big fan of Tom Brady, I'm kind of glad to see him retire, but he was a great quarterback. No doubt about that.
The Denver Broncos are for sale. Don't really have too much of an opinion on this. It's just more something random. Jim Harbaugh was expected to be the Vikings' next coach, but they didn't sign him, and he decided to stay at Michigan.
Yep.
I think something happen between the two of them because they were very close to signing him, and then I think they came in. He was ready to sign the contract, and then something happened. But that would have been such a W for the Vikings, and then they ended up. I don't know if they fumbled the bag or he just did not want to go to Minnesota. I wouldn't blame him for not wanting to go to Minnesota, but yeah, I don't really know what to say about that, but I think it's a good move for him to stay at Michigan instead of coming back up to the NFL level.
I was hoping he would go back to the Vikings or back to the NFL. And the Vikings, I feel like they were a team needing a veteran coach that has experience.
Right.
But it didn't work out.
Exactly. I think they are going to get someone's offensive coordinator. It might be the Rams, but I'm not entirely sure on that. I can't remember the team, so it'll probably be on the screen somewhere. The Bucks, Steelers, and Broncos have identified as trade suitors for Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's see, the Bucks, that will be the biggest downgrade ever, and it would be very weird to see Jimmy Garoppolo replacing Brady again.
Yeah, that would be kind of odd.
The Steelers, I think that would kind of be an L when you could try to go get Watson or draft a quarterback.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Denver, I wouldn't mind seeing him on Denver. I feel like they'd kind of fit together. because I don't know really what people are seeing in Denver, but I don't know.
I think he should just stay where he's at. I mean, why would they trade the guy? They went this far with a team that a lot of people didn't expect them to go far with.
Yeah,
He did pretty good this season, so I don't get why he would go anywhere else. I just think it's kind of false news from wherever the source was. No offense.
yeah. Jaguars hired Doug Peterson. That's a great move for them.
Yep.
I hope it doesn't turn out like Urban, where you say, "Oh, this is a good move for them. This could turn them around," and then Doug ends up being a piece of crap. But
well, Doug isn't like that. He isn't like that. He's a great guy. He's a Christian. I don't see Doug Peterson doing anything stupid off the field like Urban Meyer. I don't see him causing problems. And I mean, look what he did with the Eagles.
That's true. He could. That's what I was getting ready to say. He seems like a good guy. He's a Christian from what I hear, and that's really good. And maybe he can turn them around. Who knows? This could be the Jaguars' time, maybe. Former Jets coach Adam Gase keeps popping up to be the Patriots' new offensive coordinator. I don't know what to say about that one, but we did see Bill O'Brien at Alabama, and Alabama still had a good team. So, I mean, terrible coaches could be good offensive coordinators. So we'll see.
Maybe.
The 49ers hire Anthony Lynn as their assistant head coach. Okay. Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, Brian Flores is suing the NFL and the New York Giants for allegations of racism in the hiring process because
I saw that.
Yeah, because apparently the NFL is supposed to at least interview or hire 2 African American coaches or whatever, and I guess either he wasn't given an interview and Bill Belichick messed up by congratulating the wrong Adam, because the Giants recently got the Buffalo Bills old manager and he just hired one of the coaches and he congratulated the wrong Brian, and it seemed like an honest mistake, but I don't know if I missed something or I don't know, but I think that it's kind of messed up, so I don't really know what to say about it. Not saying it's racist, I just think that it's strange.
Yeah, it's very sus.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's an imposter here, and they're trying to figure everything out.
Yeah, with the dead among us jokes. The Colts hire Gus Bradley to be their new defensive coordinator. Don't really know what to say about that. Aaron Rodgers apparently bought a house in Nashville, but the Titans say he's not a realistic option, and they will move forward with Ryan Tannehill. That is not a great move. I don't know if it's because the Titans think they don't have trade pieces to get Aaron Rodgers, but if I was them, I would get rid of Ryan Tannehill and go for Aaron Rodgers. I'm sure most teams would.
Why is Aaron Rodgers buying a house there if he's not going to play there?
Well,
I don't get it.
I read somewhere that he has family down there, so that makes sense. Maybe he doesn't like the COVID restrictions wherever his house is at, and he wants to move to another state. So that could make some sense.
Now, we have to think about this too. Remember when there was rumors about Kawhi Leonard buying a house in Toronto?
Yeah.
And he ended up going to Toronto, and then there's rumors about Kawhi buying a house in LA, and he did. And he ended up going to them. So that's what I initially thought when I saw that news. But then again, the Times are like, oh yeah, we're keeping Tannehill.
I think that's a dumb decision, especially if they want to keep going further. Cardinals free agent running back James Conner says he hopes to remain in Arizona to stay with Chase Edmonds. Expected. James Conner had a pretty good season this year, so I think it would be a good move for Arizona to re-sign him.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have to be right back because apparently we got the Zoom meeting thing again, like when it's with the 3 of us instead of just 2. So I'm not sure why that is, but we'll be back. All right, guys, we're back. Sorry about that. Next up, we got the NBA. The slam dunk participants are Jalen Green, Cole Anthony, Juan Toscano Anderson, and Obi Toppin. This is probably the best lineup that I've seen in a while. I think I'm going to go with Obi Toppin and Jalen Green as the final two, and Obi Toppin winning it.
I'm surprised Juan Toscano Anderson's in there over Gary Payton. And I think that Aaron Gordon should be in it. Miles Bridges. And where's John Morant? Where's Anthony Edwards?
Right.
Like, what's going on with these selections? I mean, I don't mind these guys being in it, but where's those selections? I mean, there's Luka, too. Did you see Luka's dunk on Andre Drummond the other night? I mean,
Doncic getting in his back. Smoke! Full smoke for Luka.
Good grief.
Yeah, I think Gary Payton said that he's only an in-game dunker. And John Morant, I think people were saying that he didn't want to get hurt. And Luka Doncic is not really known for being a dunker. I'm sure he can, as you just said, but he's not known like these guys are. And Toscano Anderson, he's got a lot of bounce, so I'm not surprised that they picked him up. There was one game where he was just dunking all over people. I think he was against Philadelphia.
You said John Morant said he didn't want to get hurt?
Yeah, I think they don't want to risk it since Memphis is doing good. I'm not too sure.
He's jumping into people and flying all the time. I don't see why he'd be scared. There's no one there to try to, like, run into the dunk on. It's the All-Star dunk contest.
You know, I don't know what to tell you. I just am saying what I've read. So
it's crazy. Yeah. I don't know. I think he's kind of tripping there.
Yeah. The Pacers have traded Karis LeVert in exchange to the Cavaliers in exchange for Ricky Rubio, a first-round pick, and 2 second-round picks. Not a bad move. Pacers, like we've said, are rebuilding, so expect more trades during the deadline. The deadline is coming up this Thursday, so that will be really interesting to look and pay attention to. We got a lot of trades, but yeah, I don't really get necessarily why the Pacers are rebuilding. I think that they would be a play-in team if they weren't rebuilding, which we'll get into in a little bit. But yeah, good move for the Cavaliers. They're going to keep going farther and farther.
You know, that's I'm surprised that they were using that many picks in the trade, but I think it's a good move. But I mean, Karis LeVert has had some injury issues, and I do know that Karis LeVert, he's a pretty good guard, so it could work out for them because they're lacking in guard depth, and of course Ricky Rubio got hurt, and Colin Sexton did too. So I think it could work for them. It's just we don't know if he's going to be healthy on the court.
LeVert can play it forward too, right?
Yeah, small forward.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, because I was just thinking what's going to happen when Sexton comes back. But I guess you can play LeVert at the 3. That's still a really good team. I mean, Cavaliers have a bright future. All right, so there will be a clutch challenge during the Rising Stars game. So basically what this is they're going to be in teams. So the first team is Tyrese Halliburton and Desmond Bane. Second team is Scotty Barnes and Chris Durante. And third team is Evan Mobley and Josh Giddey. And the fourth team is Fanbio Zhang and Michael Foster Jr. from the G League. So basically 8 NBA players and 8 G League Ignite players will be divided into 4 teams and 2 and compete to make shots from 5 locations on the court, tied to iconic shots made in the NBA playoffs by NBA 75th anniversary team members. So all the shots are Magic Johnson's baby hook.
Johnson. Byron Scott is in the ball game now. 5 seconds to go. Magic with a hook shot. Scores with 2.
Charles Barkley top of the key. Damian Lillard from the logo.
It's Lillard. He got the shot off. Lillard good! Good! And the Blazers win the series for the first time in 14 years!
Reggie Miller from the wing and Ray Allen right corner 3. This is a pretty interesting contest. It's going to happen during halftime of the Rising Stars game. And the rising stars are practically who you would expect, so I'm not going to go through all of them. But, yeah, I just wanted to mention that. I think that's a pretty interesting thing, and I would like to see it. I think the only other shot I would add is Michael Jordan's shot to win the game in Utah in the finals.
Jordan a drive. Hangs, fires, yes! The Bulls lead 87-80.
When he won his 6th championship.
I would disagree about that last one, but yeah, I think it's something interesting and new to add to the All-Star weekend. Instead of calling it Logo Alert 3, I would say Steph Curry because
They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry! With 0.6 of a second remaining.
Curry's hit a lot more logo shots than Lillard has. But Lillard's known for being logo Lillard.
Right.
Really deep threes. But I have nothing really else to add to it. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah. So the Pacers and the Raptors were discussing a trade between Pascal Siakam and Domantas Sabonis. That would have been a good swap for both teams. So quick update. Domantas Sabonis just got traded to the Kings for Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, and Tristan Thompson. So they stopped talking about that, and they're not going to do it.
I mean, I would honestly disagree because, yes, the Raptors need a better shooting big man, but at the same time, the Pacers are getting rid of their guy Sabonis. He's done so much for them. Without Sabonis, I mean, the Pacers are going to be worse, like way worse.
I mean, but again, the Pacers are rebuilding, so they're just having a fire sale, and it's already starting with Karis LeVert. So if you build around Siakam, that's not a bad move at all.
Why are they going to get rid of Brogdon? Because Brogdon and Sabonis are around the same age.
Actually, that's a good point. I didn't read anything about Brogdon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they should get rid of Sabonis. I mean
let's see. We got the Pelicans were exploring. Sorry, go ahead.
I was yawning. Sorry.
Oh, okay. The Pelicans were exploring trade options for CJ McCollum. You don't have a player on the team that can get CJ McCollum.
Actually traded Zion.
Yeah, prime Zion.
There's Zion that eats a bunch of and, all that food down there in Louisiana.
I was trying not to go there, but
I mean, is that what you mean by prime Zion? Because that's where he's at right now. No offense. I do have his Zion jersey, so I probably should wear that next episode. We'll see.
You worn it for one episode before, but yeah. We got, after 4 consecutive 10 days, Lance Stevenson has signed a contract to stay with the Pacers for the rest of the season. Great move. He was definitely balling out in that first 10-day. I'm not sure about the rest, but if he continues to play like that first 10-day, that's a good move for the Pacers. Hall of Fame coach Bill Fitch passed away. Rest in peace. I'm not really sure how he died, but rest in peace. New All-Star Game MVP trophy. It has like some significance to Kobe Bryant. It looks okay, I guess. I mean, it looks nice. It kind of looks more like a glass art piece than like a tribute to Kobe. So yeah, I got it up here. What it's supposed to mean is the 8-sided base represents the 8 decades of NBA All-Star games and a nod to Kobe Bryant's number 8 jersey number. The 18 stars around the trophy represent his 18 All-Star selections. The base height of 2 inches is a nod to Kobe Bryant's 2002 Kia All-Star MVP. The 24 stars represent each All-Star in the game and Bryant's number 24. The 7-inch height is a nod to Kobe Bryant's 2007 All-Star MVP. So basically, it's all to his jerseys, like the USA jersey and his All-Star MVPs. It's very cool. I think they could have done a little bit better with the trophy because it looks more like an all-star piece, but or not an all-star piece, but like an art piece. But other than that,
Okay.
I like the meaning behind it.
Yeah, for sure.
And then next up, we got the All-Star reserves. Let me just see if I can find that real
Bro,
quick.
I have to rant about those reserves. Like, come on. Like, there's just so many of them that were questionable. I will say there's some that were deserved, of course. Like, I thought Darius Garland should have been an All-Star reserve, and he was. So, I mean, his numbers don't lie. He's been playing quite well. But there's guys like Draymond Green, like 8 points a game in the All-Star game.
Well, Draymond's not playing.
Then why is he selected as a reserve?
I don't know. They're going to have to replace him, I guess. He just announced that
Bruh,
3 days
that makes
ago.
no sense. And
All right, so Western Conference All-Star reserves. Devin Booker should have been a starter. Luka Doncic probably should have been a starter, but I understand why Ja is. Rudy Gobert, starter. Draymond Green, he's not playing, but that makes sense. Donovan Mitchell, Chris Paul, and Karl Anthony Towns. So that's basically what you would expect in the West. And in the East, Jimmy Butler, Darius Garland, James Harden, Zach LaVine, Chris Middleton, Jason Tatum, and Fred VanVleet.
Oh, I was going to say that I don't think that Chris Middleton should have been this year. I mean, he did good. I mean, his stats are still pretty good, but I think that Miles Bridges should be in over him. And that probably is a little biased because I'm a Hornets fan, but Bridges has just been absolutely phenomenal for Charlotte. I mean, LaMelo Ball has been too, but Van Fleet deserves it, though, for the Raptors because, I mean, he's been doing quite well at the guard position, especially, picking up the load that Kyle Lowry left.
Yeah, I feel like that Melo was definitely snubbed. LaMelo, not Carmelo, LaMelo. I feel like he was snubbed, but I understand why, because you can't have 4 guards on the same team. Van Fleet definitely deserved it. He's been playing at such a high level for years. And other than that, I don't really have too much of a problem with any of the reserves, except for maybe Draymond Green, which, like I said, they're going to have to replace him.
Now, fun fact, Mike, did you know that LaMelo Ball is younger than me?
I think I did know that.
That's crazy, isn't it? It's just like, man, I feel old now.
All right. We got the Knicks have shown interest in De'Aaron Fox. The Kings are not going to trade him. Donovan Mitchell's relationship with Rudy Gobert is passive-aggressively awkward, and they get on under each other's skin a lot. So that could explain why Mitchell wants to leave Utah.
Imagine leaving. I'm just playing.
I mean, we've personally seen a lot of NBA stars have this sort of problem, so it's nothing new, especially when they both probably want to be in the spotlight.
Well, my thing is, right, we've heard this before. It's not the first time we've heard about Gobert and Mitchell. I mean, going back to before COVID and the pandemic, that situation with Gobert and the interview, it started there.
Right.
I felt like. And there's a couple of times every once in a while it seems like they would patch things up and they just didn't get along. I don't think it's a thing of someone trying to get the better spotlight of the other person because they're both 2 great players. And there's a lot of great players on Utah. If Mitchell wants to leave, then it's just going to make Utah way worse. I don't know why he would want to leave. I mean, They're doing fine the Jazz are still really good. I mean, Joe Ingles did tear his ACL, but they're still 4th in the Western Conference. They're 32-21 and on a 2-game winning streak. I just don't get why he would want to leave.
Right.
And I just don't see why they'd be so passive towards each other. I just don't get it.
Right.
I mean, Mitchell's the one, it seems like that's instigated some of the things, but we don't know everything that's going behind closed doors.
Right. There's optimism that Carmelo Anthony's right hamstring strain is not serious and he will be day-to-day. Interesting. The Antetokounmpo brothers are considering participating in the skills challenge together. That'd be cool to see.
Nice.
The Clippers are trading Eric Bledsoe, Justice Winslow, and a second-round pick to Portland for Norman Powell and Robert Covington. This is
Wow, that's a W.
this is not a bad move for either side. The Blazers, they're getting a point guard while Damian Lillard's out because he had abdominal surgery, and they don't know how long he'll be out for. There was rumors that he could even be shut down for the rest of the season. And Bledsoe is a solid player. Winslow, not too bad. Norman Powell, he's a pretty solid player. I don't know why Portland would let him go, but not bad. And Robert Covington, I heard he was on a bit of a slump. I thought he was better than I thought, but there was parts where he was on a shooting slump. So I'm going to go with the Blazers winning this deal.
Really? Wow. Well, for me, I'm saying that the Clippers are winning this, and here's my reason why. Okay, so Bledsoe, he's a really solid point guard. We know this. He's been a backup at times, but he's been a starter. Him going to Portland, that's big for them. Even though we know David Lillard is out yet again, he gets injured yet again. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Lillard's just been hurt so much over the last couple of years. He's starting to become like what Chris Paul was in the playoffs a couple of years ago. He just got hurt.
Right.
Then Justice Winslow, he's been a backup forward. He's not a bad player, but he's not a star. And then a second round pick, nothing too crazy, but Norman Powell, he's been really good at shooting guard position. He can play great defense and he can hit the three. Robert Covington, he can play amazing defense. He can rebound, block shots, and score. So I think that the Clippers, of course, they're needing some more depth at the guard position. That's a big hiccup for Powell going there. And then at forward position, because Kawhi Leonard's been out and Paul George has been in and out of the lineup, getting a guy like Robert Covington is a great thing. So I think it's a W for the Clippers.
Right. The 76ers are expected to pursue James Harden, and the Nets are open to moving him. And then they backtracked once again today, saying that they're not going to trade James Harden. So I don't know where these people are
tired of hearing it. I'm just tired of hearing. I said this last week. I'm tired of hearing these trade rumors about Ben Simmons every week.
Well, fortunately, it's not about Ben Simmons. It's James Harden.
I know, but he's been in the discussion with Harden. So it's just like every time it's, Harden's going to get traded. Oh, Simmons involved in this package. Simmons is involved in that package. I just, what I'm saying? I hope you understand how I feel, Mike.
I do. I completely agree with you and I'm tired of reporting, the Sixers are trying to trade Ben Simmons to Brooklyn, and it never happens. But yeah, I mean, if the Sixers do go after James Harden, obviously that's not a bad move, but they were saying that they wouldn't even put Ben Simmons in there. I'm like, what? He's one of the only players on the team that could match up with Harden's contract, and you have a chance to get rid of him, and you don't want to get rid of him? Do you think that you're just going to get him with Thibault and Maxey?
Exactly.
What? You have to throw in Simmons.
I would rather keep Maxey than Thibault, but I would keep both those guys. I want to try to get Harden because, Harden, yes, he's a great player, but at the same time, you have to think about all the stuff that goes on with it, with him and his publicity, his drama, and all that too. So you have to think about that as well, and the contract. His contract could take up other players' contracts and have them become free agents.
Right. And
like Andre Drummond, probably a free agent again.
Right. But Kyrie Irving, he was just saying earlier that he believes that James is committed to the team from his discussions. So I don't know. Is it media lying? Is it James Harden wants to leave? I don't know. I mean, I don't blame the 76ers for wanting him. Who wouldn't want James Harden? But yeah, don't really know what to say. I don't think that he's going to get traded, though. We got Austin Rivers says he's one of the best basketball players in the world. This is just like a little discussion I wanted to have. Now, in a sense, he's not wrong because he made it to the NBA, and not many people can say that they did make it to the NBA, especially at his level. He was at the top of his high school class, or near the top of his high school class, and he got drafted first round. That's pretty impressive. Once again, not many people can say that. But if we're talking in terms of like where he is on the NBA level, he is nowhere near the top 100 on the NBA list. But when you're talking about like best basketball players in the world, if you make it in the NBA, in my opinion, even though you may suck in the league, you're still pretty good because that's the highest level of professional basketball you can play. So in a sense, yes, Austin Rivers is not wrong. He could be considered one of the best basketball players in the world.
I mean, yeah, I get your point with that. I just think that him saying that's kind of crazy, but I mean, you do have a point there with like certain amount of players making in the NBA and all that. But then again, think about this: Austin Rivers' dad, Doc, played in the NBA, and his dad's been a coach for a long time, and he grew up in like a basketball family. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing or to discredit his play, but I just think it's a pretty crazy statement. This son that's not really like humble, but I mean, you do have a point. I like how you describe your point with that, though.
But then when you're talking in terms of like, he came from a basketball family, so did Michael Jordan's sons, and they never went to the NBA. They were not as good as his dad. And
Remember the Currys, like Dale Curry? He played in the NBA, was one of the best
Well,
shooters,
yeah.
and he became Steph and Seth.
Yeah, but Steph and Seth, of course, they earned it. And Seth, Steph's a great player, and Steph, we already know. So that's not surprising that they're in the league.
Mike Jordan's sons, they had some off the court issues, or some
Yeah.
of them did.
Yeah. Luka Doncic is 10th in most triple doubles, and he's only 22 years old. That's insane. Luka Doncic is on his way to being one of the top players all time.
It's pretty impressive that he's already at 10th at most in NBA history, and he's a great player. He's very fun to watch, except for when he's beating down my Philadelphia 76ers every time they play them. But other than that, I mean, he's a great player. I don't know if he'll be able to reach Westbrook or like Oscar Robertson when it comes to like having the most triple doubles and averaging all that, but it's still pretty impressive.
And now playoff tier list. We did this for the NFL halfway through the season, so we're gonna do this one for the NBA.
How about Mike? We do it one list at a time, like one tier at a time. You give bottom one, and then I do my bottom one, and then we just keep going up one at a time.
All right, that's a good idea. So I'm gonna start with my out. Detroit, Indiana, Houston, San Antonio, Portland, Sacramento, New Orleans, Oklahoma City, and Orlando. Okay, Detroit, that's obvious. They're probably the worst team in the league. Indiana, they're rebuilding, and they're going to get worse once they get rid of Sabonis and Turner. Houston, obvious that they're probably the worst team in the league. San Antonio, I don't really see them doing anything. They could. They got some good pieces. Portland, they're hurt with Damian Lillard, and I don't really see them doing anything. Sacramento is pretty obvious. New Orleans is very obvious. Thunder, I don't really see them doing anything, but they have a bright future with their, 20, 30 plus draft picks, however many draft picks they have.
Yeah.
And Orlando.
Yeah, their G League team is stacked too.
Right. And Orlando, that's pretty obvious. They're just bad.
Yeah, so for my bottom list, I have Detroit, obviously. I have the Pelicans, the Knicks, the Magic, the Spurs, and the Pacers on the bottom list.
And then my play-in team, I did this a different way than Christian did. He did it the original way, and I just did it like where I think the teams are gonna go like play-in or whatever and playoffs. So in the play-in, I might be a little biased with this. It depends on how the Wizards do in the trade deadline. But I have the Wizards in the play-in, Knicks, Clippers, and Timberwolves. Wizards, I feel like they could still be a play-in team, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they're on the out. So I'm in the middle with that. The Knicks, I feel like they could make it to the play-in. The Clippers, I feel like they could also make it to the play-in, but they're also struggling. So they're another team like the Wizards that are in the middle of out and being a play-in team. And the Timberwolves, I feel like they're not ready to be a playoff team, but they're certainly not a bad team. So I think that they could make the play-in.
So here's my next to the bottom list. I have the Portland Trailblazers, the Houston Rockets, the Sacramento Kings, the Oklahoma City Thunder, because I feel like the Thunder in a couple years will be in the playoffs again, and they have a lot of great young talent. Timberwolves, the Hawks, and the Celtics.
Interesting. All right, then we got the
I
playoff
put the
team.
Rockets there to troll with you, Mike.
That was a good one. I was thinking, what?
Hey, you what?
All right, playoffs. 76ers, Cavaliers, Milwaukee, Mavericks, Nuggets, Grizzlies, Lakers, Jazz, Hornets, Heat, Hawks, Raptors, Celtics. 76ers, I feel like they could be a playoff team unless they trade Harris, then they're going back to the play-in. Cleveland, they've got a bright future ahead of them. This season, I know they've been plagued by injuries, but I still would not be surprised if they made it to the playoffs. Milwaukee, you already know they're the defending champs and they're a great team. Dallas, they're another good team. Not good enough to win the championship, but good enough to be in the playoffs. Denver, basically the same as Dallas. Memphis, I'm really surprised by. They've been on such a big run and they're third in the West. I'm not sure if that's changed, but yeah, John Moran is doing really, really good for them. And, I'm not surprised that they're in the playoffs, at least at the moment. I was, but now watching them, they're a great team. Lakers, I still feel like they could make it to the playoffs. I just wouldn't be surprised if LeBron has that magic and just gets them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Utah, of course, they're going to be in the playoffs. Charlotte, I think this is the year they're going to go to the playoffs. I think they might start in the play-in, but they'll eventually go to the playoffs. So Charlotte is a great team. Miami, they're another great team. They should definitely be in the playoffs. Atlanta, I wouldn't be surprised if they made it, though I could be wrong, and I should probably switch Atlanta for Los Angeles, the Clippers. Toronto, I feel like they're a good team. And Boston, I feel like they could come from the play-in to make it.
Well, for mine, I'm trying to see because when I downloaded the tier list, the words are like really small. I can barely see the screen, but hard to say. I have the Cavaliers, the Clippers, and the Raptors. And then the line above that, I have the Hornets, Wizards, and Nuggets. Second in line, I have the Nets, 76ers, Jazz, Grizzlies, Mavericks, Lakers, and Heat. And then the top, I have the Suns, Bucks, Warriors, and Bulls.
I definitely agree with you with hard to say for the Wizards.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Wizards, yeah, they're kind of hard to say. Like, I just don't see Toronto or Boston or the Hawks being in the playoffs. It's just going to be really hard for them to advance anywhere. But teams like Memphis, major improvements. I mean, Lakers, I almost want to put them in the third line because the Lakers are just unpredictable. Like, they'll win some games and they'll do okay, and then they do horrible. Like, right now, they're dropped to 9th in the West, and they're 26 and 28. And then there's Portland, too. Like, they're on a 5-game losing streak right now. So I don't see them going anywhere.
And then my championship contenders, Golden State, Phoenix, Chicago, and this might be a little bit of a hot take, but Brooklyn. Now, Golden State, that's pretty obvious. They got all their big three back, and they have some other pieces that are really helping them out. So I think Golden State will definitely go to the finals. Phoenix, they're obviously a championship contender. I think they'll go to the Western Conference Finals and lose to the Warriors in 7. Chicago, I don't know why. I just feel like they might beat Milwaukee out. I think they already beat them once this season. So why not do it in the playoffs? I mean, they've done such a good job rebuilding their team as well, similar to Memphis. They got DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Alex Caruso, even though he's hurt, Lonzo Ball. All those guys are playing at a pretty high level. So I wouldn't be surprised if they made it. And the Nets, I know the Nets are very injury prone. But when all three of those big three guys are healthy, they're easily a championship caliber team. Right now, they're not healthy. I think they only have like James Harden and Kyrie Irving. Durant is out right now, and they're playing like they would be with James Harden and Kyrie Irving. So if
Yeah, the
Kevin
Nets are on
Durant,
an 8-game losing streak too. So the
right,
Nets have dropped to 7th in the East. They were up in 1st and 2nd. They've dropped all the way to number 7.
so if Kevin Durant can come back, I would not be surprised if the Nets are a championship contender. But who knows? Maybe someone could surprise us, like Miami. I didn't think Milwaukee would make it to the finals last year, so who knows?
I mean, I thought Milwaukee was, but it's just like the East. It's been kind of shifting a lot recently because the Heat were around 5th. They're now 1st. Cleveland's back to 3. The Hornets have dropped to 9 because the Hornets have lost 4 games in a row. They lost the Heat last night or yesterday. By the time this comes out, it'll probably be on Wednesday or Tuesday, and Wednesday they're playing the Bulls, so we need to win that game. The Hawks are 10th. The Wizards have dropped all the way to 11th. Talk about down bad. No offense, Mike.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want because I'm disappointed with the Wizards at the moment.
But the Bucks have dropped to 4. Toronto's moved up to 6. It's just a lot of shifting there. And then the West. The West is pretty much the same as last week, other than Timberwolves moved up to 7, and the Lakers fell away to 9.
Right.
And also the Pelicans have actually moved up to 11th, and they're actually only 1 game behind the Trailblazers for 10th, which is a play-in spot. So the Pelicans have been doing a little decent. They've won 2 games in a row, but they're still a bad team.
Right. All right.
Philadelphia beat the Bulls today too, so that helps.
Nice. All right. So what's next? What do you want to talk about next, Christian?
Okay, how about we bring up the Winter Olympics? Kind of do something different. All right, So the Winter Olympics started on February the 4th, which was, I want to say Friday. And basically, there's 90 different countries in the Winter Olympics this year. Last Olympic Games was in 2018. Norway won. They had the most medals with 39. Let's see here. There's not many fans in attendance. There's like very limited. It says there's 327 athletes total, I think. Or no, 327 medals, I think, total. There's 15 different sports. There's short track, speed skating, different skating events, ice hockey. There's ski jumping, cross country skiing, biathlon, freestyle skiing, snowboard, bobsled, stuff like that. But right now, looking at the live medal count, Norway is actually first with 2 gold medals and 1 bronze. Sweden 2nd, Russia's 3rd, Germany's 4th, Netherlands tied for 4th actually with Germany. Australia tied for 6th with Japan. So is Slovenia. I'm surprised Slovenia is actually at tied for 6th. They have 1 gold medal. China is tied for 9th, so is New Zealand. USA 13th, not doing too well. But then again, there's still like a week or 2 left in the Winter Olympics, so we'll cover more of that as it keeps going on. But that's just a quick review of the Winter Olympics so far. But before we get into college basketball, we need to bring up the NHL All-Star Game, which was on Saturday. So they had a skill competition, which they had the fastest skater, the hardest shot, the foul face-off, the breakaway challenge, the 21 and 22, the accuracy shooting. So the fastest skater was actually won by Jordan Carew from the St. Louis Blues. A lot of people thought Connor McDavid was going to win, but he didn't. And probably the hardest shot, the favorite to win, Victor Hedman won from the Tampa Bay Lightning. Guess how fast was his hardest shot?
It's hardest shot, right?
Yeah.
I don't really know. 150?
You said 115?
150.
Oh, 103.
Interesting.
A little off, but
way off.
Okay, so Jack Hughes actually won the breakaway challenge. He's placed for the New Jersey Devils, but the All-Star game, they did it differently. So they did it to where they have different divisions instead of different conferences. So the first semifinal, they had the Metropolitan Division against the Pacific Division. And then they had the second semifinal between the Central Division and the Atlantic. It's kind of confusing, but basically the Metropolitan Division won against Pacific 6-4. Central beat Atlantic 8-5, and then the Metropolitan Division beat the Central Division 5-3. Charlie Garoche had two, or I think he had a backhanded goal. He ended up winning the All-Star Game MVP. So that covers the NHL All-Star Game.
All right. So moving on to college basketball. There was some close games, some upsets. They had the Duke North Carolina game. That Duke killed them basically. I mean, it hasn't been as good in recent years because one of the teams is either going to beat the other one. Let's see. First,
it was a shameful performance, to put it lightly. I was not very happy to see Duke win because they're one of my least favorite teams, and I'm a North Carolina fan.
Right. I don't blame you for being upset about that. We got.
I went home and saw the score from work, and I'm just like, come on.
All right, we got first upset. We got Arizona State beating number 3 UCLA 87-84. UCLA, they've been decent. I thought they were going to win the national championship, but they lost. I don't think they are now. We might have to do a March Madness tournament tier list soon, but we'll see what happens with that. Duke obviously beating UNC 87-67. I did not expect that. Rutgers upsets number 13 Michigan State 84-63.
But basically Michigan State, that was just disgusting to lose to Rutgers. But yeah, there's a lot of other upsets. Like, I mean, Texas, Iowa State put on a horrible performance against Texas, only scoring 41 points. Number 20 in the country, Iowa State, lost 63-41 to Texas. I mean, Villanova got lucky in their game. DePaul upsetting Xavier was another one. We saw Purdue beat Michigan in a close game, 82-76. There's another one I saw. Okay, yeah, UCLA. You mentioned that when UCLA losing to Arizona State. I thought that was pretty crazy. Do you have the rankings up, or do you want me to go through those?
I think last week's rankings. Obviously, they haven't done the new rankings yet. They will be soon.
I think they updated it this week. But Kentucky moved up to 5, Purdue's 4. I think it's the same as, I don't think they've updated it yet. I think they come out with the new one tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, guys. So here are the college basketball rankings. So first is Auburn, second Gonzaga, third Purdue, fourth Arizona, fifth Kentucky, sixth Houston, seventh Duke, eighth Kansas, ninth Texas Tech, 10th Baylor, 11th Providence, 12th UCLA, 13th Illinois, 14th Wisconsin, 15th Villanova, 16 Ohio State, 17 Michigan State, 18 Marquette, 19 Tennessee, 20 Texas, 21st USC, 22nd St. Mary's, 23rd Murray State, 24th UConn, and 25 Xavier.
Because some of these are the same as they were last week. So
yeah,
yeah,
definitely. All right, so now let's get into the top 12 plays of the week. Coming in at number 12 is Ayo Dosunmu's dagger dunk.
Dosunmu on the drive! Dosunmu! Dagger!
Ayo. But at number 11, we got John Morant posterizing Robin Lopez. You have to see this absolutely filthy dunk.
Weaves by Lopez. He jams it. Oh, my. On his head.
He toyed with him. Well, I ain't playing with you no more.
It's not hard to poster Robin Lopez, but yeah, it was a great dunk.
He got
number
demolished.
10, at number 10, Mitchell Robinson blocks John Morant's dunk.
Down to 10. Morant rising up top to Peterson and hurt his feelings, but not enough smoke for the big guy. That's going to be a foul.
A little bit of karma for you, Ja. But at number 9, we got R.J. Barrett's clutch 3 to send the game to overtime. Why couldn't you do that when you're on my fantasy team?
Back out to Barrett. Barrett, three-pointer. Bang! R.J. Barrett ties the game!
Roll the clip.
At number 8, David Roddy calls game.
Okay, I might mess this name up really bad, but number 7, we got Chidi Nujawonki's 16-second finish. What is that supposed to mean?
It's a UFC fighter. That will probably be in the description because UFC likes to block stuff. And at number 6.
How am I supposed to say that name? Like, that is one of the hardest names I've ever had to pronounce in my life.
You know, you pronounced that one guy's name. He had like 6 different names, and you pronounced it perfectly.
Well, I mean, it's just this one's just weird. Is it?
It is really weird.
Nujawonki or Nujawonki? I don't know.
Someone please tell us how you pronounce it in the comments. But at number 6, we got Pelich needle thread pass to Jack Hughes. I believe it was in the skills competition.
Yep. At number 5, we got John Marantz behind the back alley-oop. What's with all these John Marantz here in the top 12?
Then he turned it over. 3-on-1. Melton on the lob from Williams.
Yeah. At number 4, we got New York Rangers. I'm not sure of the player because I don't watch hockey too much, but needle thread pass. That was a sick pass.
At number 3, we got Team USA tying up their curling match in the Winter Olympics. Roll the clip.
Vicky, look at this focus. Look at her eyes, baby. And she releases the stone. Come on, Chris, baby. Got that rock, son. Wow, baby. Sweet, son. Sweet, baby. Sweet. Sweet, baby. Come on, baby. Wow. Thread the needle, son. Thread the needle. Here it comes, baby. Here's the needle, baby. And he threads the needle, son. Wow, baby. That's a 3, baby. That's a 3. It's all tied up, son. It is all tied up.
Yeah, I don't watch curling. I think it's kind of boring, but that was impressive. But at number 2, we got 10-year-old kid does a 360 Michigan goal in the Columbus Blue Jackets arena.
We also need to recognize James Ritzert and Hayden Mast.
Very impressive. But at number 1, we got Trevor Zagaris' blindfolded goal.
Distract. Look up. Wow. Are you kidding me?
That kid is very fun to watch, and he was referencing the movie Dodgeball. There was a scene where the guy made them get blindfolded so they could get a feel for trying to dodge the dodgeballs, and he recreated that in hockey. And he made the goal, so that's very, very impressive. Maybe he wasn't fully blindfolded, maybe he was. The world may never know, but yeah, that will close out today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure you guys follow our socials, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Comment down below your Super Bowl picks as well. We want to know who you have winning.
Yes. Peace out, guys.
You want me calling now, you wanted what I think.